Hey guys, this is Jared with 316 Fit here again with another video. This week, this time, I'm going to tackle a can you train in a fasted state? Should you train in a fasted state first thing in the morning? So I have a lot of clients that get up early before work, 4:30, 5:30, don't have enough time to eat before they get to the gym. Their question is, does that hurt me? Is that a bad idea? Should I have something different? Should I have something in my system before I train? So it's a good question. I think the answer is simpler than a lot of people think. Let's start with, can you train in a fasted state? Yes, absolutely. I think you can train in a fasted state. I don't think it's an issue at all. I've done it for years myself, usually during contest prep. The first time I'm training is first thing in the morning. It worked out before my work schedule. I usually don't eat before I go. The minimum that I would have usually is a BCAA. So I guess that leads me to my next question, or I guess I'll explain, can you train in a fasted state a little bit better before I move on? And the idea is, am I going to use muscle as an energy source? Am I going to hurt my recovery? Am I going to hinder my performance while I'm working out? So you have to look at them all in a different way. What energy source are you using while you're training first thing in the morning? So typically you're using glycogen. Glycogen's from carbohydrates that are stored into the muscle usually from the previous day, or at least from hours before, whenever your body processed those carbs and then stored those. So glycogen is still there from the previous day's meals, unless you're in a very depleted state. So in a case of a contest prep where you're super depleted, you're very low carb, you're doing a lot of cardio, you're very tired, yeah, you may need a little bit of food before you go. For the average person that's training in the morning, you have food from yesterday that's still in your system, it's still fueling your body, it's still fueling your workouts. You're really not going to hurt yourself if you're going to have something first thing in the morning. Personally, I usually have great energy, I have a great workout, I have great performance when I'm working out based off of that. So yes, you can train in a fasted state. No, I don't think it hurts you. Yes, there are exceptions. The exceptions typically are people that are in a very severe caloric deficit where they're trying to really lean out even further, like a contest prep, that kind of thing. So the next question would be, what's the minimum you should have pre-workout? So some people feel like they have to have something before they go, or they have to have something because they're neurotic. They think they're going to lose muscle if they work out without food in their stomach, something like that. The minimum would be a BCAA, so a branched chain amino acid. It would be the minimum. It's going to support the muscle. It's at least going to protect the muscle. It's not going to provide much of an energy source, even though you can use some BCAAs a little bit for energy. Your body will use it if you need it. But it'll at least protect the muscle. It'll put your body into more of a muscle building state where you're not going to burn off muscle, at least as an energy source. Hopefully you'd still be using glycogen, fat storage, that kind of thing. So if a BCAA is not enough for you, my options, my preference, because I go first thing in the morning, would be to add some sort of a carbohydrate drink to my BCAAs and drink that before I get to the gym, maybe during, kind of like an intra-workout drink, that kind of thing. Something very easy to digest, that kind of thing. A highly branched cyclic dextrin typically is something that I use as a carb source for intra-workout, but there's lots of different ones. If you can digest it well, if it doesn't cause bloating, if it's in and out of your system quick, it works. It's pretty simple with that. I mean, you could use a fruit juice, it's not good, but you could use something like that if you wanted to. For people that need something more before their workouts, I would say you have to find something that works for your body. Do you need carbs before a workout? No, I don't think so. Typically the carb's not going to get into your system fast enough anyway if it's a whole food source, so it's really not going to benefit your workout in the first place. If you're low enough on energy that you feel you need a carb source that is going to do something, that's where that carb drink comes in handy. You could have something a little faster digesting, maybe with a little bit of sugar, a sugar blend with a longer, more complex carbohydrate, so you get a little bit of both would be fine. Something like a basic Cheerio, something like that, or a Honey Nut Cheerio, as silly as that sounds, would provide workout energy if you're low enough. But in a contest prep, again, it's kind of a silly thing to say. I mean, are you going to use 20 grams of your carbohydrates to fuel that workout or not? You probably have better choices. You could probably eat a sweet potato. I would prefer a sweet potato. I think the carbs work better for your body anyway, but those carbs are not going to get into your system fast enough to fuel the workout. So really what you could do, first thing, if you need something in your stomach, you feel like you need something, you feel like you need some of the energy, my first thought would be protein and fat. Protein and fat would be my first thoughts because I don't like an insulin spike before my workout. An insulin spike before my workout causes a big spike and then a big crash. So then your energy level goes like that through the workout. And if you notice that you have carbs pre-workout and you ever notice that you drop towards the middle or towards the end of the workout, that's usually your insulin spike crashing. You have to sustain that somehow. A carb drink during your workout would sustain that. Using a longer, more complex carb would sustain something like that. So typically protein and fat would be my first choice. Protein shake with natural peanut butter, a tablespoon of it, not a huge, 25 to 40 grams of protein depending on your size, 50 if you're bigger, 8 to 16 grams of fat from peanut butter. You get a little bit of carbs from the peanut butter, may or may not get into your system fast enough. I mean, it's a peanut butter, natural peanut butter is essentially mechanically digested, so it's going to get into your system quicker than a lot of the rest of the stuff would because it's already gone through that process of chewing and coming. It's in a paste, it's ready to digest, it's very quick. Fats are also still an energy source that you're going to use. You're not strictly on glycogen only when you're training, just like any other time throughout the day. You're not strictly on one energy source, you're always using multiple energy sources throughout the day. So minimum for me would be a protein shake and some natural peanut butter. For somebody else, it may be a whole meal. If you have enough time to get up and have a meal before your workout, you don't sacrifice sleep for it, because I think sleep is still the most important thing that you could have. But if you have enough time to get up, relax, drink some coffee, eat a meal, that would be my preference. I would eat a meal and I would make it a big whole food meal, and to make it a complex carb, I'd make it sweet potatoes, I might have some eggs, something like that, I might have some chicken. I mean, it's for breakfast, I'm not that picky. But I would have some sort of protein and some sort of complex carbohydrate and probably some sort of fat source to sustain that insulin spike, to level that off more than anything else. So those would be my thoughts, my ideas. If you're in more of an if it fits your macros kind of diet, or you're less particular on what kind of stuff you want, I would probably have a little Greek yogurt, a little bit of protein mixed with it, and probably some fruit. Those would be the things that I would eat mixed together. Throw a little peanut butter in there again for slowing the release down, slowing the digestion down just a little bit. That would be my pre-workout. So again, like I said, you can train in a fasted state. You don't have to eat anything. If you feel like you need to, I would start with protein and fat first. Protein and fat as an energy source. And then if that's still not doing it for you, I would switch over to a full whole food meal if you have the time. Most of us, realistically, if you're working a job, you get up early, you're trying to train first thing. You don't want to get up an hour before that and eat a meal. You want to get up, put your clothes on, get your butt out of the door, get to the gym, and start training. For those people, the best option would be a BCAA with a pre-workout. And beyond that, throw a carb drink in there if you need to. That's really it. But don't be afraid to train in a fasted state. I get some of my best workouts in whenever all I have is just a BCAA and some pre-workout in me, and that's it. I feel a little bit more dragged down later in the day when I have carbs, and sometimes you guys will notice this too. A bigger meal or a big carb meal, it might provide some energy, but it also at the same time it might slow you down a little bit. So I would start with nothing, add a little protein and fat. If that doesn't do it, make it a protein and carb meal with a little bit of fat in there, kind of just to keep that digestion rate more of a steady rate than anything else. But I think that covers, can I train in a fasted state? And the answer is yes. It's pretty simple. If you have any questions on this or follow-up questions, my email is at the end. I would appreciate any questions you guys have for me to go ahead and email those over to me, jared@316fit.com. You can comment on this post, you can comment on my Instagram, you can shoot me a Snapchat, something like that. It doesn't have to be public. You can ask me a question, I'll address it. Somebody asked me this and I thought I would answer it. So thanks for watching. If you actually made it all the way through the video, I can be long-winded and ramble and stutter and who knows, but hopefully this helps at least one person. That's the reason that I'm doing it. So let me know. Thanks.